Okay, so here we are, and today I'm going to do a tutorial in Flash on how to make an image break apart, like smash. So I've got my image of my door, so as if I wanted someone to gonna smash through it. So I need to open Flash. Cool, Flash is open, good. ActionScript 3.0. Change the size of my page to 1280 by 720. Cool. So that's just in my properties. Okay, cool. That's a nice big size. So I'm just using Z to zoom in, and if I hold Option, I can click and zoom out. Alrighty, so I need my image, file, import to library. Where did I put it? What did I call it? I have no idea. Okay, screenshot, something, door. Cool, now if I check my library, left click, and now I've got my picture of my door. So I'll just drag that out onto my page. Cool, and then I've got my door there. So my selection tool, okay, I'll make sure that I have it selected. So what I'm going to do, because we can't alter it now, because this is an image from the internet, so it's not vectors, it's made up of pixels, and Flash is a vector-based program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it into vectors. Now keep in mind, you don't want to be doing this for everything, because you'll notice Flash will start to lag because it's starting to have to deal with a lot of vectors and a lot of different colors and a lot of different shapes. So you want to make sure, if you are to do it, you only do it to one selected item and make sure your item's not that big. So if I left click, select the whole item. So I'll go modify, bitmap, and trace bitmap. So that brings me up to my options. Now I'm pretty happy with all those options, so take note what they are. So color threshold is 1. So you'll notice if I put up to like I think the maximum is 500, and if I press OK, it'll convert it, and it's pretty much converted it to one color. So I'll undo that, Command Z. Okay, so if I modify bitmap, trace bitmap, so if I do it just halfway, let's say 250. Okay, it looks more like the door, but again, it's only selected a few colors. So again, undo. So if I wanted a more accurate representation of the image, I'd do a lower color threshold. So I'd probably do 1. See how that looks, and not bad. So notice it took a little longer to load, and now just notice it's hard to tell, but if I zoom in, I'm selecting tiny little colors. You'll notice it's a vector now, but it's broken up with lots of different colors and lots of different shapes. So if you do it too much, it's really going to make your program slow and annoying and lag. So you can notice all my different little shapes in there. So depending on how much of a main detail it is, depends on how your color threshold when you trace the bitmap. So I'll leave it like that for now because I'm just using the one image. So what do I want to do now? So if I wanted my door to smash, so I need to break it apart, and now that it's vectors, I can do that. So I get my lasso tool. Now if I hold click left, and I'll go the polygon tool. This way I can create straight shapes rather than round shapes, because I'm going to make it more like a door or glass shattering. So I should be able to just click, and I don't have to drag and hold, it just automatically locks into place. So I click roughly where I want it. Okay, so if I wanted a shard like that, now if I can't be bothered going all the way to the end, I can just double click and it'll cover that thing. So it's highlighted all those pixels. So what I'll do is convert that into a symbol, so press F8, and I'll call it just shard 1. make sure it's a graphic, click OK, and that appears in my library. So I've got that shard. So I'll delete the one I just made. Cool, and then I'll continue. So I've still got my polygon lasso tool. So I continue to select different shards of the door. So I can cut it up a bit if I want. Again, double left click and I'll highlight that section. F8 to convert to symbol. I'll call this shard 2. Yep, graphic, okay. Cool, looks good. Press delete. So when I press delete, or you notice I've missed a little bit in there. It's not going to be a problem. I might undo to make sure I don't miss it, but it shouldn't be a problem. So if I continuously undo, yep. So I'll deselect that. This time I'll make sure I get it. I'm not quite sure what happened that time. Again, F8, shard 2. Okay, delete. Cool, that's better. Now that little bit that I missed is gone. So I continuously do that, which is pretty easy. So double click, F8, shard 3, enter. Now I've got my 3 shards in there, delete, and I just continue to do that until I've got all the different shards. So you can have millions, or you can have just 2 or 3 or anything. F8, shard 4, okay, delete, okay, and then I've just got my last shard. So I'm turning all these into symbols. So first I had to turn my picture into vectors, and now I'm turning the cutouts into symbols. So F8 to convert to symbol, and it's our last shard, so shard 5. Okay, cool, now I've got all my shards. Now what I want to do, so bring them out all onto separate layers, so I can create 5 different layers. So if I just click new layer, 1, 2, 3, 4, so I got my 5 layers. So that one's already on a layer, so I can lock that, and then I'll select my next layer, bring out shard 4. Now I should be able to just link it up roughly. Looks pretty good. Lock that. Shard 3, so make sure I'm on layer, the next layer. Left click, just drag it out. Shard 3, it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. Cool, I'm just tapping it roughly into place. I can zoom in if I want to get a bit more accurate. Cool, I'm pretty happy with that. Cool, lock that. Next layer, shard 4, drag it out. Oh, I've already got shard 4. Shard 2. Cool, I'm on the magnifying glass, so I want my selection tool, which is V. Cool, lock that up. Put it in roughly where it goes, not bad. And then my last layer, shard 1. And now I have a complete door. Cool. So you can have that door just chilling there. Now I want to make it explode, so it should be easy enough. So I'll unlock. So I'll click the lock, just drag it down, and then that unlocks all of them. So I want it to be a door for 5 frames. So left click in that frame, hold shift, left click down the bottom, press F5. So that it will make the length of that one frame 5 frames. So I'm not inserting a new keyframe, I'm just extending the length of that original keyframe. So so now that I've got that, it goes for a period of 5 frames. I think I'll press F6. So I will insert keyframes now. So if I modify anything in these keyframes on this part of the timeline in frame 5, it's not going to alter anything there. So it'll remain a door up until there, and that's when the explosion will begin. And then so I want the explosion to finish at frame 10. So left click, hold shift, left click, insert keyframes, so F6, boom. So now I got keyframes in frame 10, keyframes in frame 5 and keyframes in frame 1. Okay, cool. So it's as simple as left click the start of the animation that I wanted to start. So on frame 5, hold shift and left click. Now if I right click and create classic tween, so now it'll animate from frame 5 all the way up to frame 10. So nothing happens because I haven't animated it and moved anything yet. So what I can do, I'll select, so make sure I'm in my timeline in the last frame. So select an object and I can just simply as move it. So I can select all my objects, left click and drag them away. So if I wanted the door to explode like so, it's as simple as that. So now it's just exploding, kaboom, kaboom. And it doesn't look too bad. I might even rotate some of them. So Q for my transformation tool, and I can rotate that. So now it'll rotate like that. Ka-choo, ka-choo. So always make sure when you're going to rotate it, you see if I go in the middle in my time frame rather than on a keyframe or a keyframe. If I go in the middle where there is no keyframes, if I start to alter things here, it inserts a new keyframe. So if I was to alter something here and I moved it here, then it would have to go from frame 5, which is here, and then on frame 7 it would go out to here, and then on frame 10 it would go back up to here. So the more keyframes you insert, the more robotic it's going to look, more jagged, because it's going to have to go, instead of from point A to point B, it'll go from point A to point B to point C. So keep that in mind. So when you're altering things in here, keep an eye on your timeline, because things might change. Okay, so it looks pretty good. I'll rotate that a bit, might move that. Cool, rotate that, I think. Cool, looks good. Rotate that one. Okay, so it goes shebang. And if you wanted to say ease out, so it starts really fast, so before the door is exploded, and then as it explodes, kaboom, really fast, and then it slows down as the shards of the door fly away. So it's as simple as left click, hold shift, left click. So I've highlighted all my layers of the door. Now if I go to properties and tweening, so I'm going to make sure I have my keyframe selected, and tweening, ease, it's a matter of left click, drag it, so ease out. You notice it says out there. So if I go the other way, it'll have a minus and it'll say ease in. So you want to ease out. Okay. So as it goes from start to finish, it'll ease out towards the end. So you notice now it's really fast there, and then it slows down towards the end. You notice a lot more if it goes for a lot longer, the easing. So it starts fast and it slows down right at the end. So that door is a bit slow motion, it's getting a bit matrix, so just undo that so it does it really quickly. Cool, I like it. Maybe I'll even ease it a bit more. So again, left click, hold shift, left click. So alter the ease. Ease out. Alright, kaboom. Boom. Nice, I like it. Good explosion. Another thing you could do if you just don't want, if you're not quite sure where to put all your shards of the door, we could make them disappear. Yeah, that'd be easy. Alright, so again, left click, hold shift, left click. So I've got all of them highlighted. No, it should be simpler than that. Oh yeah, so you got to highlight your actual objects, like symbols, not in the keyframe, and not in the timeline, sorry. So if I just left click my object, so make sure I'm on the last keyframe. So I don't want to select it, because if you select that, notice properties changes, because it thinks you want to alter the actual keyframe. So I want to alter the actual symbol, so left click it, style, alpha. So your alpha is like your transparency. So you notice there, it's on 37, so if I go 100%, we can see everything 100%, and as I bring it down, it fades away. So you can use these color effects, and you can use them in the motion twins. So if I was to go to 0, so we can't see it anymore, it's still there, you just can't see it. And then you'll notice in my animation, it slowly appears and it fades away. So that could be a technique that you could want to use. So if I was to apply that to all of them, so on my last frame 10 on my timeline, so I could select, I'm pretty sure if I hold shift I could select, yeah, I can select all of them, so that'll save time. So I've got them all, my symbols selected, not my keyframes, so I got my symbols selected. And again, properties, color, effect, style, alpha, and it's already on 0, so you notice there I can fade it in, fade it out, so it's good. Opacity, so if I had something behind it, you would be able to see through it. It's not that it's fading to white, it's fading to invisible land. Okay, so they're all 0. Now watch that. Okay, and the door appears. Okay, so you can imagine the door's there, knock, knock, knock. Who is it? And then the door disappears. So I'll watch that with Command Enter, bang. That's it. Cool, so it's obviously repeating. If I want to have a better look at it, I'll add some more frames at the start. So just wherever I want to insert more frames, not keyframes, so just frames. F5, if I just tap that as much as I want, and just put more frames in there. Again, at the end, I want it to hold for a bit longer, so it explodes, and then there's nothing. So just F5, all them. F5, 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 F5. Okay, so now when I watch my animation, Command Enter, door, door, kaboom, door, door, explosion. Go, and that's how you can make things explode. So you could explode people's heads, you could explode windows, explode doors, explode anything you want to explode. Okay, cool. Thanks very much. See ya.